There are so many reasons why it might be hard for you to know how you're feeling in any given moment. Drama disconnects us from our body a little bit, and so does diet culture. We grow up with all these messages like, oh, you're not hungry or thirsty. So, of course, it makes sense that it's hard sometimes to check in with how we're feeling. It's hard to know when we're hungry. It's hard to know these things. Welcome back to Rebel Movement Podcast. My name is Billy. My pronouns are they, them, or she, her, and I'm glad you're here. I have something a little bit different ish for you today, and it's a kind of guided check in. And this is something you might do while doing other activities. You don't have to do this still, you don't have to do this with your eyes closed. Um, this is not intended really to be a very long meditation. However, you can make it longer if you want to. It's just kind of a brief checking in with your body. It does not necessarily, how do I say this? It might not work for you every single day, and it's not supposed to be the cure of anything. As you know, I'm a movement teacher. I help people leave diet culture. I do inclusivity education. I am not a psychologist or therapist. So that's my scope of practice. This is something that I practice my on myself, like by myself, on myself. And also I do with a lot of students. And I also do with a lot of students because it's so common that we have difficulty checking in with how we're feeling. So this is how it's going to go. I'm going to walk you through this little check-in. And then afterwards at the end, I'm just going to do a very brief, like when we're done the little check-in, I'm going to do a very brief catch up. Like this is in case you've missed it. Kind of like if you subscribe to my newsletter, I have an in case you missed it section and a coming up section. Just very briefly, checking in with things coming up so that things that you may have missed that you might be interested in. And I'll leave that for the end. So try to keep this short as the episodes have been lately, and also try to catch you up a little bit because I know it's been a bit since we've been able to be caught up. So again, you do not have to be seated. You don't have to be still. You can be doing other things while you're doing this. Just please be mindful of your surroundings, especially if you're doing other things, um, so that you're paying more attention to where you are so that no one gets hurt, anything like that. Um, and yeah, move around as much as you need to. Um, yeah, I think that's it. So just take a moment, notice. Why don't we just notice surroundings? You might look around, notice any colors or shapes, or like, where are you? What do you see? And what do you hear? You can hear the wind outside. Maybe you can hear the same. Maybe you can hear cars. Is there other things going on in the background? And then try to notice your body's relationship to the ground beneath you. Are you making contact with the ground? Is it like changing? So, for example, if you're walking, maybe one foot and then the other foot. Just kind of noticing the feeling of your body making contact with the ground or itself, if you have your hands on your knees, for example, or your body's connection to the clothing you're wearing. And I'm going to ask a couple of questions here. You might imagine asking your body, or might keep it with I'm asking you. Whatever helps you feel best, whatever feels good for you. So, what are you noticing in your body today? Are you noticing any tension? Are you noticing temperature? Are you noticing any like muscle soreness or tiredness? What kind of stuff are you feeling? What do those feel like? Like, what does the tension feel like? What is the, whatever you've noticed, what does that feel like? Where is it sitting in your body? Take a moment to reflect on how the past day has been, maybe past couple of days. Was there a moment that you felt really connected to your body, or that you felt like you really compassionately could take care of your body, or were compassionately taking care of your body? Just thinking of a moment the last couple of days where you felt really connected to your body, or you're really taking care of your body. Maybe even celebrating that for a moment. Was there a moment this past couple of days where you felt really disconnected from your body? And can you do your very best to hold acceptance for that, knowing that it's normal to sometimes feel disconnected from your body? Thinking again of the past couple of days, what kind of wins have gone on? Like, what have you done that you're proud of? And these wins can be small, like in quotes, small, but feel big. Like maybe it's getting out of bed. Maybe it's making food. Maybe it was remembering to pick up something that you put down. Or maybe it was making a really scary phone call. Maybe it was those moments you were connected to your body. Noticing if your brain wants to wander off even further and return your focus to breath, letting your breath take up space in your body. Last two little bits here. What do you need? What does your body need right now? Is there anything that would help you feel 5% better in your body? Maybe it's food or sunshine. Maybe it's rest. And then asking your body, is there anything else that needs my attention? Maybe even asking your brain, is there anything else that needs my attention right now? Take a bigger breath in your nose and a bigger breath out. Just one more like that. Bigger breath in, bigger breath out. Bringing attention back to the things you're seeing and feeling around you, the sounds, temperatures. Great job. So it's a short version of a kind of a, it can be a longer check in. And I'd love to know how that went for you. If you were doing other things, if it felt safe to do. It's I guess it is a kind of meditation. It's a little check-in meditation kind of. Um that's not necessarily how I always view it. I don't view it as a meditation sometimes, but it is kind of one. Does that make sense? Um Meditation in general is not always accessible for people who have trauma. And in some cases, it's actually not recommended. I would go to your therapist and ask them. There was times in my past because I have a lot of repressed memories, and I was going through some beginnings of some of the unpacking. My therapist had recommended not doing more than 1 or 2 minutes. Um, so speaking from experience, meditation is not accessible for everybody, and I think that sometimes rhetoric around that is that, oh, that means you should meditate more, which is not true. It's not always helpful. And this little practice is one way of practicing some of the things that can be helpful, but like body connection, because it's really hard for a lot of people. Um, and it still feel, safer. Like you can be doing other things. You can go in as deeply or as not deeply as you'd like to, as feels comfortable. So I'd love to know how that went. You can always re-listen to this, especially the first half of this episode, as many times as you need to. So you kind of have that in your back pocket as a tool if you ever need support to do this check-in. As I said, it is hard work. The second half, you probably don't want to listen to more than one time. I would encourage you and ask you to listen to it now. But when you're listening back to this later, you can just pause after the first part of the check-in. So, things in case you've missed it, little catch-up section. I have been loving the warmer weather. I put my hammock up, trying to kind of prep for vegetable gardening season. However, it's still not like full effort. I'm still in a phase where like we're still doing renovations. So we're now like a year in. The bathroom's done. A lot of things are done. Like we've made a lot of progress. And also there's still a lot to do. So there's only so many projects we can do at one time. So putting like, a lot of effort into a vegetable garden is not super accessible for us right now, but we still want to have one. So anyway, there will be one, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some veggies. I have snap peas in there right now, which I'm excited for. I have had, let's see. Well, one of my wins I'll just share is that I made a dentist appointment. I will admit it's been a long, it's like been quite a few years since I've gone. Part of that is because I don't have dental insurance, because I'm self-employed and I've had actually I don't think I haven't had dental insurance since I lived with since I was a kid. Because none of the jobs I've ever had dental insurance, and even the jobs I've had in the past that were quote full-time would be less than the 40 hours. So you wouldn't get any of the extra perks of being full-time, including dental insurance. Anyway, I could go on a whole rant about that, but now I'm self-employed. And I definitely don't have dental insurance. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the one that comes out in Ontario. But so that's part of it. Like the financial part of it is definitely a barrier. But I had been going to the dentist, and then the pandemic happened. That freaked me out way too much to go. And then life got in the way. And so it's been a while. The longer it had been, the more and more stressed out I was about making that phone call and about the finances part of it. But anyway, my huge win is that I finally made a dentist appointment and I finally made a follow-up appointment with the doctor. So those are things, while not very important to you, very important to me, and were very difficult to do. I was stressed out about those two tasks. Like the doctor, not as long, but both for a significant amount of time at one time or another. And they definitely took less than 5 minutes to make the appointment. Ugh, I wish I'd done it sooner, but I just want to validate, like, if you have to-do list items that have been like in the back of your brain causing you so much stress, totally get it. And set a timer and be like, okay, I'm gonna put 5 minutes towards this task. Maybe you can get it done. Maybe it'll be finally off your plate. It's a nice feeling. What else? A couple of weeks ago, I did a anti-diet teacher workshop for the teachers at a Pilates studio close to where I am. It's called The Studio, PEC. It's a Pilates studio. And I think immediately when a Pilates studio or movement studio is wanting to hire me to do a training all about diet culture's impacts on our students, like immediately you get points. So I did that for all of their teachers. They hired me to go in and do this workshop talking about diet culture, how to create safer spaces, and it was amazing. Everyone was really awesome, really kind. There was lots of really good questions, and my favorite part was all of the amazing discussion. So good. I love doing this work so much. It's like definitely in my element when I'm teaching this workshop. Not to say that I wasn't terrified before doing it, but I'm all usually, I'm often very nervous for doing like before doing things, especially if I care about them. So that's not really anything out of the ordinary. And it went really well. And I'm really happy about it. I've announced a date for my next, like the next public anti-diet workshop. This isn't only for movement teachers. However, movement teachers will get a lot of benefit from it as well. Um, it's for anybody that works with people, anybody that works with bodies. If you're looking to unpack the impacts of diet culture and anti-fat bias, I highly recommend this training. You can take it with me in the fall, or you can hire me to come into your workplace or your studio and teach it to your whole group, which I definitely recommend. There's something so empowering about a group of teachers all doing at the studio, all doing it together, because then you are immediately involved in a community of people doing this work. And it's not like you against everyone else you work with, not against, but it's definitely isolating sometimes. As those of you know doing this work might know, it can sometimes be difficult to be doing this work and go back into your space. Not that it can't be done. Like I've done it before. I know a lot of people do it, but it's just such an empowering thing to have a whole studio do this work together. Um, I loved it. I loved it so much. I also have too many words at the same time. I also have a queer inclusive training coming up end of May. So May 30th. It's the Saturday. It's 10 to 4 online. You can join for the recording. If you'd rather get the recording, or if you're missing, busy some of that day, you can get part of the recording, part live. Talking all about like what different queer identities mean, like what certain language means, history, and why queer inclusivity matters, the impacts of anti-LGBTQ plus hate, and inclusivity steps, things that you can do in your space or your life to help queer folks feel safer in your space. It is 200 Canadian. It's myself and Andy Bachman. We're both doing different parts of this training. I highly recommend it. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a pretty nice training. It's the first time I've done a training like this, like a queer inclusivity one, and the first time I've done a training like this with another teacher helping me out. So check it out. Links for that will all be in the bio or in my show notes. You know what I mean? And then I don't know if I have any other personal updates. I'm sure I do. Hobby wise, I've been into cozy hobbies. Has anyone else been into cozy hobbies? I've been like coloring. I got is it alcohol markers? Is that what they're called? Where you can like fade them into each other. And I'm not like a pro at using them yet, but I've been playing around with them. I just finished a game called Wave something. Now I don't remember what it's called. Wave Tail? That sounds wrong. Anyway, you're a person who gets to surf on waves, and I'm not going to the whole story, but it was cute. And I'm reading. Oh my God, I can't remember any. Oh, it's right beside me. I just started A Day of Fall and Night by Samantha Shin, and I read her other book. And that's what I'm reading now. Those are my main cozy hobbies right now, is like reading, playing games, and coloring. Granted, I am a person who picks up new hobbies all the time, so we'll see. And in terms of, is that in case you missed it? Yeah. And coming soon. I kind of did them all in one. I guess the last thing, in case you missed it, is I have a deal for people who are new. who are wanting to try out a couple of classes, try out a couple of different class styles without it being a higher expense. Trying out new shit is honestly is scary. As I said, I get nervous about new things. Um, and also when you're looking for specifically an anti-diet space, like there's so many places who will use inclusive language, like well, they'll use inclusive language in their marketing, but not have any of the follow-up work. So you might go into a space being like, oh, I finally found this like, space without a bunch of diet culture. And then they say shit in the class and you're like, oh, fuck again. So, being someone who's experienced that quite a few times and having lots of students who've also experienced that a couple of times, I get how scary it is to start in a new place. So you can try out 5 live online classes for $2 each. So it's a $10 pack. You can also grab the recording again if the live times don't work for you. That way you can try out a few classes, see how it works for you, see how you like it, and not have to be into a membership or whatever. You can decide what to do after that. That's it, really. I think there's probably more, but that's the most important stuff. If you have questions or feedback, let me know. Let me know how this check in went for you. And if you have questions or topics you want me to cover in these little mini episodes, let me know because they're kind of a nice way of deep diving into one little tiny bit of a subject. And I think that gives a kind of a unique learning moment for us and for me to explain it in a very good way, hopefully. um, I hope you have a really fantastic day. Thank you so much for listening to this. I do want to acknowledge that I feel a little bit brain foggy today. It's a certain time of my cycle. I'm like extra brain foggy and a little bit lightheaded and like not super high energy. And I have some allergic reaction happening on my mouth, so I can't make a lot of faces. So the way that I'm talking might be a little bit different than you're used to hearing. And I don't know, just maybe I don't need to give you those disclaimers, but I like to be as authentic as possible. And this is me authentically. I'm like trying really hard not to re-record this whole episode because, you know, we're our own worst critics. But this is me showing up authentically. Those are the reasons why I might feel a little bit weird today. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.